Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Halo Montager podcast. With us today, we have myself, Execrated, Kyle, Apple Fanatic,
Hello.
and Noremac.
Hey, brother.
No introduction from Chris?
Wait, what? You
I
said
said
my
your name.
Oh, sorry, I'm here too.
Okay, so anyways, we have the four of us, and our general topic we're going to start off with is having to do with clip standards and specifically in this case, repetitive locations for clips and how they're affected. What's the primary example we're going to start off with? You want to do Seawall or maybe Exile?
Yeah, I guess Seawall is probably the biggest one as of right now, so that would be pretty
relevant,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So with Seawall, as we all know, a lot of people hit all these insane multis on Seawall Nair. Like, Cam, what would you say is like probably your craziest Seawall Nair or clip right now?
A scope there, no AFKs in it. Apparently that's important to point out because if you have one or two, then it's almost unusable at this point.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But it's like, you have that, and then we have like Nair times 4 and all this stuff. It's like, all these people are hitting clips on Seawall, and it's almost becoming oversaturated, as you would consider it. But then you have people that complain like, oh yeah, well, so many people have hit these clips on Seawall. I mean, is it really a good clip anymore? So where is the line drawn, do you think?
Just personal standards, honestly. I mean, everyone has their own opinion, set the standards, but I mean, it shouldn't be like if someone puts like a Seawall atrocity in a Taj, it shouldn't be like everyone just points that out to someone. It should always be like sort of, I guess, bringing each other up. It shouldn't always be like, oh, well, that's not a main clip. Like, it should be more, well, that sort of thinking of like positives of a clip, I guess, instead of pointing out the negative clips in an entire Taj sort
Which
of thing.
you pretty much never see these days. People like leave
Yeah.
positive comments on stuff unless like the video's like insane. There's always going to be a few people who just like point out something they didn't like and not like in a constructive way. Like if you look at any comment section for like, I don't know, for example, and a nice Halo 5 clip on SHC, you'll find multiple comments of people just shitting on the clip for no reason.
Yeah, and just like just SHC in general, you'll always, no matter what the clip is, I can almost guarantee there's always going to be one person who is just not satisfied enough by it. It's just like insane clips put on SHC, and it's always people just, I guess, putting it down, saying that, pointing something negative out about it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really make sense.
For example, the Hash Browns VIP Nair. It's like one of the best VIP Nair, considering it's only the second one ever hit. But just like an insane clip overall, someone has to find something negative to point out about it, and they always will. People commenting it's bad players. Like, it doesn't matter. It's the second VIP Nair ever hit. It's something is difficult about doing that. And talking down about a clip like that, it just kind of blows my mind that people would talk about it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly wonder if it's like some kind of comparative measure, like even if it's not realistic, if some people just think, oh, I could hit something better, and so they just have to downplay it or something. I always wonder if that's kind of their motive behind it, because some people are so dedicated to just, ragging on clips, no matter how good they are.
It's like a dick-sized contest through Halo. That's how I think of it, because people just always try to put each other down. They get so competitive over like who has the better clip, and they get all cocky about it. I'm not going to name names, but there are definitely people out there who get like super cocky when they hit a clip, and it's like, oh man, all these other clips aren't as good as mine. Like,
yeah. So kind of going back to the whole like Seawall thing, there's even like other maps too. Like there's Exile, and before this podcast, I was even talking about Pinnacle. How I feel like I would never even want to main a Pinnacle POC nowadays, just because I've seen so many Nairs. But that doesn't invalidate the clip if it's really good,
Yeah. I think we're all going to have different things to say regarding standards, but my opinion is please just like don't blindly follow the standards set by the community, because it's great that you look up to some videos and stuff, but the whole point about making a montage is making something that you really want to enjoy, because montaging itself is so stressful and you're going to absolutely hate it at at some times, like all the time actually. So if you're gonna put in all that work to make a good video, you should at least make sure like you're setting your own standards for what you want, not just following what other people want you to do.
Yeah.
And then you see newer YouTubers, how they look up to all these people. Like, you'll see someone like Felix or Fat Rat get these insane clips, like for his M3, for example. And they're like, wow, I want to make a Taj like that. And then they don't hit a clip to that standard. You know, they just may not be that good, but that's what they look up to. And it's weird how you see that standard fluctuate on their end, because they start with a lower standard and then they get better and it gets higher and higher. But then, you know, they become so obsessed with like actually matching that standard. But at first it's just, oh hey, I'm hitting clips and this is the best I can do.
And this kind of goes back to the whole like SHC comment thing, is that like a lot of people submit clips to SHC because they're like genuinely proud of their clip and it's like one of the first clips they've ever hit, or something that they're just like looking for feedback and stuff. And I mean, we all have videos that we like look up to, like from back in the day and stuff, and we all had to like start somewhere. So when you're putting down people who are uploading like videos, that's just telling them that they shouldn't even make content if they can't like live up to the standards of the big Todgers. And I think that's just stupid. That's just like turning away people who are trying to make content. And there are fewer and fewer people like making content for Halo these days. So
yeah,
I mean,
like making content for Halo I sometimes don't even find it enjoyable anymore, because it's like, it's not, I don't do YouTube for views or anything, but it's like I work hours and hours and hours upon a video, and then I upload and I get like 60 views and like I don't know, like 15 likes or something like that. So it's like I mean, obviously Halo is not as popular as it was back then, but I mean, it's still like I want to do something that I enjoy, and it's like sort of not even like me, it's sort of the community that's just sort of pushing me away in a sense, where it's like I get a nice clip that I think's nice, and then I just see other people say, oh well, I mean that wouldn't be made for me. I mean, everyone has their own opinions, and I mean whatever, but I mean so I don't think some people understand exactly what they're saying sometimes, or how it could affect someone like for their future, I guess.
To quote Mr. Blonde here, he was saying that if you're making Halo content for views or to like make a living off YouTube, you're clearly just have the completely wrong mindset, because it's just not, unless you just get insanely lucky, it's just not going to happen, at least not right now.
Going back to what Kyle said though, like not wanting to play from getting like criticism from people for not having good clips. Like, I'm relatively new, and like starting out, I'd watch the bigger people like Fat Rat or Hyena, or people like that, and I would watch your stuff and I would play, and I would obviously I knew I wasn't gonna hit clips like to that level, but just like saving things that I thought were cool, I would put them in a video and people would just like talk down about it, and it was so demotivating to like try to play through that. It's just like I see all the time people talking about how they want to quit, like like just after like one day, after one video, after like one circumstance, they're just like they don't want to play anymore because people are so like hard on them about it. It's so true though. Like, people are always like that, where they just like, if it's not up to their standard, they just don't want to watch it. And I've definitely felt like that before. It's like, I don't want to play this game if people are.
I mean, I guess this is kind of related, but I stopped playing for like a couple of weeks when I started editing Yoshi's Tosh, and dude, I saw those clips and I was just like, dude, I can't save anything anymore. Like, so I don't know. It's just, you can't be in that mindset where you compare yourself to someone else, because it's all about just like I don't know, growing up in the community and just kind of making a name for yourself just by, I guess, putting in the hard work, which I'm saying hard work because montaging is hard work. If you think it's just
for sure
playing Halo and just like getting clips like every single day, it's not at all like that. There's so much.
Nares don't rain down from the sky. You have to dig it up out of the ground and actually make it look good.
Yeah, and going back to like the quote, like overused spots and stuff, people who think that seawall nares are easy, go try it yourself, please. If you're
I was
like
just gonna say this, because I'm at the point right now where I don't even want a seawall nair, because it's like well, I mean, obviously I do, but I mean, it is so difficult sometimes because it's like there's always just one person. If one person in the lobby knows what you're trying to do, they will go out of their way to do anything they can to get you down. And it's so frustrating because I see so many people comment on, like, I wanted to go on to this because what Devin said, it's like people commenting on seawall clips, and it's like they're saying, oh, these are so easy. But it's like they don't actually understand because some people get extremely lucky with some of the lobbies they get. They match, I mean, takes a ton of time and a ton of, like, just being so smart with where you are, what you're doing exactly. And it's like I'm at the point where I don't even, like what I said, I don't even want to see one there because I feel like no matter what I do, if it's not like all headshot, like 7 exterms in it, then it's gonna be talked trash about. And it's like I don't want to be at that point where it's like I hit a clip that, like, I don't even have an H3 nair yet, and I already feel like if I get one, it's already gonna be bad. And I don't know why I'm at that point exactly, because it's like this wasn't how it was before MCC was out, where it's like you hit a nair and it's like, oh my god, that's insane. And now it's like people are just throwing nairs in just random videos, and it's retarded, honestly.
I actually I wrote down, me and a bunch of people like Yoshi and Roby and Matt. We wrote down some people that have hit nairs on this game, like in general, like not just on Halo 3 or Seawall or anything, but there aren't, from what I know, and I'm pretty sure I know, like everyone that has an nair, like even some of the sweats that are like unknown, there aren't more than 20 people, and that's on MCC as a whole that don't have, or that have nairs. So to talk about a Seawall clip, like, it's easy to get. I know, not naming anyone, but I've seen people like complain about Seawall, and then they just, like, in a comment section, they talk down about the clip, which doesn't make any sense. Like, they know that it's like difficult from up there. And it's just like, I don't know, people that talk about like using a laser, like you can't, like having a laser and a snipe on Seawall is like unusable, because if you use a laser at all, it's just like not a usable clip. I know people always on MCC specifically, like, became more popular, and a lot of people are talking down about it, but some people don't even know how to like use it properly. Like, I know for a while, for me, it was like kind of difficult to get used to, always like being confident with your shot to like switch to your laser, and I don't know, it's not as easy as it looks, pretty much.
Yeah. And it's kind of the same thing with like Halo Reach, where people were always talking trash about Pinnacle. Pinnacle is actually, it is difficult to get clips on. Because like I said before, I mean, yeah, there are tons of clips, and it's like atrocities and Jarls are going into like just random uploads. But I mean, it's like once you get to the higher standard, like the task, pox, and nairs, it's like once you get the task, you're looking around everywhere, and there's nobody to be found anywhere. And that happens so often because there's, I mean, Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, does Ethan have the only 4v4 nair that is actually known of?
No, Shwazy has one too.
Okay, well, Swayze's a different story because he's just insane. And then Just Mad, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
but I mean,
but I guess Just Mad brings up another thing, is that the reason why Small Tower Pinnacle became so like looked down upon was because when Reach first came out, like Rumble Pit on a brand new account, like you could find such like good lobbies all the time. Yeah. Whereas now Reach is hard to montage in. It's so hard to montage in. So when people hold Reach clips, or I guess, I mean, this could go for H5 too. When people hold clips up to standards that were made when the game first came out, I think that's stupid, because standards can lower themselves too, like very, very easily, especially on Reach, where you go on, like I went on today, there were 6.5 thousand people online, and like, it's so hard when you kind of like, I'm to the point where if I play Anniversary, I like know every single person in that playlist at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Same with Big Team.
Yeah,
like I have to. Sorry, but I have to. If I'm playing Big Team, I like making a new account, for example, because current accounts I play on Big Team is almost unplayable. That blocking people is like a necessity. So making a new account, I match people all the time. Like pretty much every game that I've like seen before, I have to go out of my way to block them, which is something I don't know.
Yeah,
Chris, that's a good point because people don't actually. I mean, as far as I'm aware, people don't actually understand that standards obviously can go up, but they can also go down. Because you see in old Halo 3, old Tages, you see like no scope overkills, you see like body shot tags, and now it's like not in there, don't care basically.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So
you see the same thing with like other games. I mean, we were talking earlier about Halo 5, where it's like the standards have gone like farther down because it was so much easier to Taj back before they started banning everyone for having fun.
Yeah, and without getting into like the big 343 hate fest or whatever, Halo 5 when it first came out, there were 2 playlists that you could go into and montage without like a lot of stress for the most part, and it was like addicting and fun and stuff. And now like you go into big team and you match the 8 people with the same emblem who are just sweating their ass off.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I don't want to play this anymore. And that's why people aren't like Tajing on H5 very much anymore. It's like it's just not fun.
And that's why I stopped. I got to a point where I was like, why am I even doing this? I'm not having fun. So that's why I just stopped. I mean, montaging for the most part is about having fun. I mean, it's about the adrenaline of hitting a clip, but I mean, it's the fun of, meeting other people in the community. Like, I didn't even know Cam existed until like last week. I was kidding, Cam. I'm sorry. I mean, it's like I want to have fun while playing. It's not like, I mean, clipping is very stressful, but I mean, it's stressful. But then you hit the clip that you've been like dreaming of or like going for, and it's so rewarding. And then it's just like you get to that same exact spot where it's like I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
One thing people don't understand too is that montaging is like kind of an addiction too, because like you get addicted to hitting clips and like the adrenaline rush from that, and then like 30 seconds later you're just back in a different game sweating for a different clip. Like there's almost like no time to like sit back and just like, whoa, I just did that or whatever. It's just like constantly searching and backing out of like try hard lobbies, and it's stressful. It's like I would say montaging can be as stressful as like playing on like a competitive team in Halo.
Oh yeah.
But people think that it's like, since it's social taging or playing against idiots, it's so much easier than MLG clips. But there's so many people. Like, I know Phil Cheesecake, he went from MLG taging then to social taging, and I mean, I can't speak for him, but I'm sure he understands that it's not always as easy as it looks. Like, clipping bad people is difficult to a certain extent. I mean, yes, they are extremely worse and they are unaware of certain stuff, but the movement that they do, it's like when you play competitive people, you can sort of understand their movement. Like, you know exactly what they're going to do at points.
Movement, dude.
You can't understand people that don't know what they're doing.
It's so confusing. It's so confusing. Like, you see them running in a straight line. You're like, oh, they're going for the sniper, obviously. And they walk over a needler, and then they stand still, have to look down at their controller to see what button they press to pick it up. And you're like, why are you even doing that? Go pick up the sniper, you dumb.
And to be fair, people like that, you don't find them very much anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're almost always going to have at least 3 or 4 people who are like actually like actively trying to hunt you down in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, when people discredit clips that are on bad people, it's just like, please go try this yourself and just come back and stop talking. Because it's so difficult, because it's like a different kind of skill than MLG taging, where it's like all about being like clutch with your shots. This is about like knowing who to shoot, the right like time to like switch weapons, to like save ammo if you need to.
Yeah.
The right positions. I mean, and that's just for big team. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just see people who hate on like quote duck hunting clips, and I just think that's so stupid.
Yeah,
I hate that term.
And to
so
simply
much.
explain the comparison, it's like people don't. I don't know why they don't think of this when they're trying to compare it, because clearly social and MLG are different. But then think of all these MLG Tages that are out there. Pretty much the standard that people try and go for is, oh, I hit a triple or an overkill. That's such a common standard, yet you don't see that in social, because you have to hit a higher multi because the players are at different skill levels. So it's like, yes, it does. Yeah. The people that you're playing against aren't as skillful in social Taging the vast majority of the time. However, you don't see people hit nairs in MLG. There is not a single MLG killing nair, because it's different.
There's like 4 staged ones, but
Well, I mean, obviously
Hey, if it
that
says
doesn't count.
MLG in the bottom, who cares?
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm just kidding.
Other than I don't know about any other game, but other than in Halo 3 at least, Dutchy hit a POC on like, or not a POC, catastrophe on like a bunch of AFKs on Narrows. But other than that, I don't even think anyone's hit a catastrophe.
Yeah,
There's
I know
there's a
in
couple
Reach.
catastrophes in Reach MLG.
Yeah,
isn't
there's
there
like a countdown
like a
and a
pit
pit
slayer?
cast that I can think of.
A
Yeah.
countdown test? What?
Yeah,
Really?
it was weird. It's like mostly DMR too, if I remember correctly. It's super weird.
Wow. Okay,
But
I
I
didn't
think
know
it's
about
in the
that.
Halo clips, and you can find it.
Isn't
Yeah.
the pit? There's the pit slayer one, right? That's
Yeah,
like all
there's a
DMR
pitch
too.
player one, and there are like 4 or 5 on Sank.
Jeez.
But yeah, no, I mean, those clips are not going to be against people who are like insanely good though. Like you can
Yeah.
tell in the clip they're like the equivalent of people you'd match like social tajing.
Yeah, like the people that are somewhat aware of what they're doing, but they're not like sweaty.
Yeah.
But I say we move over to SHC. Is that
Oh, good.
so? I mean, we obviously know SHC can be a little cancerous. But at the same
And that's
time,
not saying that the channel itself is, because
Yeah.
No, not at all.
does such
Not
a
at
good
all.
job like actually running the channel after
Yeah.
all these years and stuff. But the garbage he has to put up with in the comment section,
I know.
Like,
Yeah,
dude.
sure.
Yeah, like I
I'm
can only
surprised that he's
imagine
still
his
doing it just
mindset.
because of that.
Yeah, like his mentality when he uploads a video must be, oh, let's see who's gonna, shit on my video today. Like honestly, like I've thought about that a few times when I upload. I can't imagine how much he must think of that with his channel.
I want to more talk about where it's, I mean, older Todgers that are still living up to the standards that where it's like H3 standards before, like at its prime, where you get on 360 H3 and there's hundreds of thousands of people playing, and it's like
Much of them don't even play anymore either.
Yeah, where
videos where they don't understand like what's happened.
Yeah, and then they're living up to the standards that where it's like every game, it's like you play Social Slayer and you're matching. There's 4 noobs on your team and there's even 5 bigger noobs on the other team, and it's like it's not like that anymore. I'm sure. Well, I mean, Mike Ishii is still playing 360 H3 and he still does match noobs, but then at the same time he still matches modders. He still matches sweaty tryhards. I mean, it's
People going for 50s in 2017. Like actually.
Yeah. But I do want to move on to the point where it's like we do see a lot of cancer on SHC, but then it's like the older Todgers, as I was saying, people that me personally look up to, like people like Hyena, where it's like you see someone upload a nice Halo 2 clip and then Hyena even comments on it saying like, oh, that was a nice clip, or even like not even Halo 2 bias for Hyena, where he comments on H3, maybe even H5, I don't really know, but I mean,
yeah,
it's like people don't understand that what they can say can be negative, but I mean at the same point where it's bigger people like Hyena, Felix, Emneon, where they comment something positive, that can boost your confidence so much. And it's like I'm not gonna be like, oh, let's all make peace in the community, because that's just not gonna happen, let's be real. But I mean that helps so much, because I know that when I was a smaller Todger and I was getting comments from bigger people, that was so helpful. Or even just smaller people in general, like people just, I mean, me for the most part, I usually try to stay away from comments in the most part. Like I do sometimes say like, oh, this was a nice video, say something nice about it. But I mean, I rarely say anything negative. And if I do, I try to make it as constructive as possible, saying like, oh, well, like, I mean, I'm not going to get into a specific because I don't really know anything off the top of my head. But I mean, people need to more look into it as like this person is in the same situation I was or will be in the future. Mm-hmm. And it's like, instead of just straight up bashing it and saying this was garbage, try to word it differently to make it a little more positive, rather than, I mean, let's be real, the Halo community is pretty small. And it's like the people that are uploading for it is even smaller. So, I mean, why are we even trying to push people away? Why not try to bring more people into the community where, I mean, at least try to bring Halo back to where it was before. I mean, obviously that's not going to happen, I mean, I'm not going to say anything that I might regret. But, I mean, it should be like, instead of just being so negative, it should be everyone, I mean, being as nice or constructive as possible. Because, I mean, people, like, having a nice comment on your video, or even having a comment in general on your video, can help a ton.
It's the best thing ever, honestly. It's the
Like,
reason. It's the reason I try and upload like as much as I can, because I like, it doesn't matter how big or how small the video is. Like, if I have a video going up in the morning, I will wake up to like read all those comments like super
Yeah,
early.
it's so
nice.
like heartwarming, honestly, because it's like you don't see a lot of comments on like specific channels in general. You see a lot of comments on like channels that are uploading Tages, SHC, stuff like that, but it's like you don't really see a lot of comments on individuals' videos, because it's more based on I guess if you upload a Taj on a bigger channel, you do tend to see a lot more comments. But I mean, if you upload a Taj on your own channel and you have maybe 200-300 subs, you don't really see a lot of comments on it, but you do see like the views, you do see the likes, you do see all that stuff. But I mean, it's not really I don't know, like a comment friendly kind of thing, where it's like not a lot of people are commenting anymore, or not a lot of people are commenting positive at all, really.
Yeah. It's like most people nowadays will withhold judgment through their comments, or they'll just find a way to like try and shit on it. There's no like, there's no upper end to it anymore. It's just like, oh look, they're neutral or they're negative most of the time. You know?
Yeah, and like people know me as like the kid with the 12-year-old profile picture who comments on every single Halo video in existence. But like the reason why I comment on so many videos is because I know how valuable it is to those people.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for you for doing that, because I don't think people like know how much that means to have someone comment like, you know, I don't like seeing people comment like sick vid or something like that. But actually, like, it's better than nothing, to be honest. It's like I'd rather.
No, if you get like a super constructive like montage review on like your big project from like some random guy, like that's so awesome.
Yeah, seeing like the big paragraphs of just text, and it's like you read through and you're like, oh, like the angle at 34 seconds into the transition. Yeah. It's just like that. That's the stuff that I look forward to. It's not like seeing the likes. It's not seeing any of the views. I don't really care about all that stuff. It's just like, I want to make a video that not only me personally, I enjoy watching it, but I can tell that other people are enjoying watching it. And it's like leaving a like or like seeing lots of likes on videos, that does help. But the comments of just people full blown going a whole Bible verse on you, just commenting everything about a video, that is so, I actually look for those comments on not only my videos but other people's videos, where it's like I look on Taj's and I try to find the biggest comments and just read through them and understand, like, I mean, it truly helps with everything. I mean, I love reading those kinds of comments, because you don't really see them that often anymore. Other than like the bigger
motivation booster, basically.
Yeah, you only see those kind of comments on videos like Chops 3, Chops 4. I mean, the big H5 Taj with Ethan and Carter, Dreams, was it?
Dreams.
Yeah,
you got a lot of shit, but yeah.
You do see those bigger comments on those bigger videos that are like 20-30 minutes long, and it's like I want to. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to try to push positivity, but I mean, I do want to see more of those comments where people are actually doing like constructive criticism, or I mean, like trying to boost up the person's confidence by saying everything, or like everything they liked, but not only liked, because there are things that everyone can improve on. Let's be real. I do want to see more like constructive criticism.
Like, exactly. Instead of like, let's say I don't know, a headshot Tross from Seawall is uploaded to SHC, and I mean, if you see comments they're just putting it down, like that could be your best clip so far. And if your best clip so far is just getting destroyed by people who you look up to, that's just going to make you want to just give up. And I'm sure people give up all the time because of stuff like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Shout out to Devin, by the way. I'm pretty sure it was you. I was looking at because I was watching the ENF podcast recently, or listening to him, whatever. And I'm pretty sure it was Devin that commented like pages of like.
Devin used to do big reviews.
On that.
I'm actually really guilty of not leaving comments anymore, because it is, I'm not a very chatty person. That goes both in the form of text and with my voice. And when it comes to commenting, I never do it anymore. I'm guilty of falling into the category of people that just doesn't leave those positive things anymore. I tend to do the thumbs up neutral stance because I don't know. I guess what's gone through my head, and I think it's the wrong way of thinking about it, is that, as you mentioned, the ENF podcast, I left these huge paragraphs, like literally a page or two worth of feedback on those ENF podcasts. But I used to do that on montages sometimes too, and I just stopped doing it because I figured, they probably don't read my comment. That's what I used to think. I mean, now that I make my own content, I realize, because I read through every single comment on my videos, even though I never respond to them. So other people probably think that too. They're like, oh, he never reads my comment. So that's what I assumed whenever I left something, and I stopped. And I just never got back into the habit of doing it again, even though I am aware of the fact that people do read comments, even if they don't respond to it. So, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like people think, like, even big channels don't like read comments or whatever. I know for a fact that Campy, he gets notifications on his phone whenever he gets a new comment on a new video. He reads literally all of them. So like, even though
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, even though people don't respond to whatever you you get comments on, it's still like, it means so much to people to see positive feedback on their videos. And negative feedback, if it's there, like, be constructive about it and don't just post a bunch of garbage. Like if someone uploads an H5 clip to SHC and people are just like, oh, none of these would have been headshots in another Halo game. This is unimpressive. You should just not upload it. Like, stuff like that just it makes me so mad.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
Last thing about comments though, like, again, even large channels look at them. If you guys know the Reachway or Taquin, him and I talk all the time, and he'll even send me like screenshots of the most obscure comments, whether they're like funny or some guy just like saying the weirdest thing about his video, like in a positive or negative way. He reads through them, even though he has 40,000 subscribers. He has a huge fan base, and he reads through all of his comments. So, it's like that almost regardless of the size of your channel. So, I guess moving aside from the whole comments thing, what about even changing up the weaponry, how that changes the whole standard of like, oh, is it savable or not? I know, like, Reach Anniversary, for example, the whole rockets lead up thing is a big deal.
Oh, three rockets and then a headshot exterm. I've seen this before.
Yeah, exactly. So people don't even save it anymore.
Yeah. And I'm pretty guilty of that too.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm pretty guilty of.
I mentioned it because I know you guys in ENF, like, I see it all the time where you're like, oh, well, I just hit this extern, but rocket lead up, it's not main, that sort of thing.
Yep, and going onto that too, this is irrelevant to H5 because the metal system doesn't make any sense and it's stupid. But in Reach, like, I know personally, if I hit a really sick, like, I don't know, overkill exterm and the shot's like insane, but there's no exterm metal and something else stupid shows up, like, I don't know, sniper spree or something, I'm legit just not going to use the clip. And that kind of like proves how much montagers are so like picky about clips at this point, where like they like everything has to look perfect. The metal lineup has to be good. Like, all the shots have to be insane for like the really top tier Tagers. It's like a lot of hard work, and everyone's being like super picky about everything because everyone's trying to make like the best videos possible these days.
Yeah, and from there, do you want to move on to talking about AFKs and clips not ending on a headshot and things like that?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Like we mentioned the whole metal lineup, but to a degree that also kind of ties in with the ending a clip with a headshot.
I'm not saying a body shot ending multi, like a body shot nair isn't good. I'm just saying it.
A nair is a nair, man.
Yeah, it got to the point where people are so picky over headshots and stuff. Me myself being very, I'm very I don't know what the word is. I'm very guilty. Yeah, a guilty professional. I mean, yeah, I mainly stick for like ending a multi. Like, if I see an over exterm, I'm much more likely to go for a headshot, or rather than like a double body shot, and then try to continue it. It's the same thing with like a laser. I mean, I I don't really know how to use the laser on MCC for the most part, so I mean, I'm fine with anything, honestly. Like as Chris said, a nair is a nair. I mean, it's whatever. I don't really care. Like a double body shot nair is and not a nair. I don't really care exactly. So it's like if I see a laser nair compared to a double body shot nair, it sort of does depend on the lead up a little bit, but I mean at the same time it's like I can't hit one, so I give it a thumbs up, honestly. I mean if I can't hit it, then and I see someone else hit it, I'm jealous of seeing like laser nairs, stick nairs. I mean I won't get into stick nairs, but like body shot nairs. I mean it's whatever. It's a nair. No, As Devin said at the very beginning, where it's like for social montaging, nairs aren't just raining down. So it's like you hit a nair that
not even close.
Like, yeah, it's like I haven't hit a nair, and I don't even know how long. So it's like if I see a body shot nair, I mean it. Like I said, it does sort of depend on the lead up a little bit. If the lead up is a little sloppy, that can sort of change my bias towards it. But I mean, it's still at the point where it's if I see a decent or a nice body shot nair or decent nice laser nair, I mean I don't really care, honestly. It's still a nair. I mean if I can't hit it, then I'm gonna be jealous of it. Let's be real.
Not calling anyone out, but I know some people who like get seriously upset when they hit a crazy clip but it ends in like a BR cleanup or something. I can think of one person in particular who has a bunch of clips that probably should be main, and because it's like
yeah, I wonder who that would be.
Yeah. But I don't know. It just gets really picky at that point, and it's just all about everyone's different standards. But at the same time, like I don't know, standards are getting like ridiculous for like the really top end Tagers. Like,
yeah,
I feel bad for people that are just joining because seeing clips like seeing bigger Tagers, like what they use. Like, I know if I was just starting out again, I wouldn't like want to play to try to.
Imagine some guy join the community and the very first clip that he sees is like, let's say it's Felix's 2-for-1 Jaro Exterm Ricochet for the win on Foundry. Like, let's just say that was the first clip he saw and he thought that those were like the montage standards. Do you think he's actually going to try?
No. I mean, it's almost
real.
like
I don't think Felix really tried for that 2-for-1. Let's be honest. I think it was sort of just an accident. Yeah, okay.
This whole thing is almost like if you were to try and give it an equivalent comparison to the competitive community, it's like a skill gap in the realm of montaging.
Yep.
So
that's a good way to put it, for sure.
Sorry to anybody still listening, but I'm actually going to end the first episode of the podcast here. Reason being, our conversation ended up going a lot longer than we expected, so I've decided to split it up into 2 separate episodes to make them a bit shorter. I'm also going to be uploading this to SoundCloud, and I'll leave a link to it in the description box below. But make sure to leave comments on what you guys think about the topics we've discussed. We're very open and interested to hearing what you guys think, especially if they're different from our points of view. So, with that being said, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.